I absolutely cannot tell you why. I feel like with full album reactions, I try to present myself typically a little better, like put on an actual shirt or something, and I almost put on cologne. It's coming into the room here. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here and for clicking on the video. I appreciate you stopping on by and showing a little bit of interest, at least in being here. Today, we're going to dive into the 6th studio album by Premiata, Forneria, Marconi, also PFM, as I'll probably be referring to them as from now on. This album released in 1975. We're listening to this album at your request. You guys have been asking about this one for quite a while, and so it is time to go ahead and dive into Chocolate Kings. We're listening to this because some of you that have suggested this, there's a lot of you, but some of you, Black Cat Central Music, Wendell Wiggins, you've been asking for this one for quite a while, thank you. Mark Dresler, MP the New Guy, Gordon Morris, hold on, Ron JM, Bart Goldstein, Leo Scone. My comment section just, there it goes, it was loading, hold on. No, it just stopped loading. Let me give it an F5. There's a lot of names here. I know there were because I pulled all you up. Okay, here we go. Ricardo, Rizza, Ron JM, we mentioned you. Funky Furballs, we got you as well. Ron JM, quite a few times. Italium, that's how you pronounce your name. Uapuat, Samuel Caligari, and Elwise. Thank you guys so much for the recommendations and for the suggestion with this album. We've listened to a little bit from PFM before, and now it's time to listen to some more. So... without further ado, because there's always a lot of it. Let's get the plugs out the way. Of course, the Buy Me a Coffee, if you'd like to skip the line with your song request and reaction request, that is available. I'm just looking up the album right now, so we can go ahead and give it a listen. Of course, Patreon for exclusive content, and then just in general, YouTube, just pressing that like button helps a great deal. And sharing the video if you think others may find interest in it. That goes a long way as well. Okay. We are set up. We are ready to go. We are ready to dive in. Like I said, not a lot of ado before this one. My friends, the first track diving into is From Under. We're going to give it a listen. We'll talk about, discuss it as we go. And as always, the first sip of whatever you're sipping on is to you. This is just a nice, just a little coffee. Just half and half, though. It's half and half caffeine or half caffeine, half not. I guess it's just 50% reduced caffeine. I didn't really want so much caffeine right now. Anyways, From Under, PFM, here's to you. We're in it. A harmonic. Just collapsing in the harmonic. Interesting start. The chaos, the serene.
Lover collecting ladies, a poet connecting raindrops, a rock and roll star again, we're 7, saint on a train to heaven. If you don't like your number, trying to get out from under, Providence comes and offers sweetly, swallow the dream you like.
Yeah, see, I like how they're building up, bringing it all together.
To survive. Somebody says don't tell lies.
This sounds like early Genesis to me. It's that English pastoral quality to it. Ripping bass.
Some Providence kind-hearted ladies and grandpa salesmen with dark revolutions and more. A Cadillac gurus of Jesus you saw, 'cause the 50s revivals, the way
That's a
the
cool-
bodies been kicked someplace till someone saying don't tell me lies.
That was a nice transition. This really reminds me of Genesis. The early days. Great drumming.
So Providence called their last friend, heroin the charm and ocean, patient enough for every problem, but silent enough to drown so many good friends.
Violin now.
Providence of illusion, a Providence horror of fat games, live how alone. Lady, you never got that. Lady, you never win. They are miles from your truth.
Love how the vocal rhythm changed there with the drums and bass. I like the aggression on the drums in this section. Violin and drums are just off now. Same repeated pattern. I like in the midst of that build how the synth gets a moment. Right? I love those long fills. It's a long fade out for this one. I wonder where the album title comes from. I was just looking at it, just thinking about it. Okay, I like this beginning track. I like the opening a lot. The immediate throwing us into it. I mean, from the very beginning, it literally just tosses us into this with the collapse of the drum fill. Then it gets this little harmonic, and then off of the sustained note of that harmonic, we eventually kind of get to see little signs of life, and that repeats for just a little bit with each repeated section being built up just a little bit more, something else filling in, kind of giving us a nice pastoral view, and then eventually vocals come in and it carries on from there. They do a great job of like bringing that all together. Because at first it's kind of separate, right? This is heavy, cluttered, chaotic, and then the remnants and the ashes here, after that harmonic, then it's just peace. And each time that they repeat that A, B kind of formula, it's really cool what they do in the middle of that to kind of fill in that gap, and then how they eventually bring those two things together, the chaotic along with the ambient and melodic, and that carries on into the verse there. I thought that was a really nice build up that they kind of executed there. It's not really kind of, but it reminded me of Close to the Edge, like in the beginning, of like the bird sounds and the peacefulness, and then just right. That's my version of Close to the Edge. But this is much more back and forth before they begin to unify. The lead singer here, Bernardo Lenzetti, okay, I don't think that he necessarily sounds too much like Peter Gabriel, even though I could hear it in there easily. I think it's his delivery that sounds like Peter Gabriel more than exactly his vocals itself, even though that is definitely a part of it. But he definitely, like, I mean, he does have a shoe in some sense for Peter Gabriel. I think that it sounds wonderful, especially in the music here. And even that aside, the music does remind me of kind of early Genesis, kind of like right around Selling England, Nursery Crime, like right in that area. I think this music is kind of hitting that kind of side because it sounds very pastoral. It sounds, I guess, to me, like when I think of Genesis at that point, very English. It kind of sounds like that kind of side to me as well. But what they're doing is really, really incredible. Franz Di Coccio. I apologize, as I will unfortunately mispronounce names, but I'll try. On the drums. The drums were a huge standout on here. I mean, just tempered with steel and fury, fast-paced, long drum fills, blitzing. Do you hear? Like, it was just really incredible how much he was able to fit in. These were, for the most part, in the most up-tempestuous of the sections, just blazing speed drums, and really, really well accented by the keyboards and the flute/violin. Flavio Promoli on keyboards, and then Mauro Pagani on the flutes and violin, which was a nice unexpected surprise. When the violin came in, I was like, oh, that's kind of nice. When the flute came in, I was like, oh. But like, it was the violin that really, kind of got my attention. Like, ooh, it's kind of different, right? I mean, maybe not exactly different for all the progressive music that we've heard, but it's still different. It's still really nice to hear it in a context like this. And I like all the ambience that's built around all of these parts, because just like the beginning, which balances the light and the heavy, the rest of the track as it goes on, even though it goes further in the heavier direction, still performs a nice balance as well. And it's kind of hard, but there is a catchiness in the rhythm, in the repeated motifs that I would say primarily put down by Franz on the drums. You could really hear him, then you go into the run, and in there the synth would play a little thing, and then kind of go back into it. You just kind of had to catch it, because it was even doing the same thing during the verse. And there's not a chorus really in here. No, really, there's not. So even though there's not a chorus necessarily to be hooked in by, literally, there's the musical aspect that you're kind of hooked into with the motifs and everything, which I think works really, really wonderful. But this is a good opening track to set pace, to set the stage, but Franz kind of took center stage in many ways for me with the drums. And I have no idea what's happening here on the album cover. I couldn't even guess. A lover collecting ladies, a poet connecting raindrops. A rock and roll star, a gambler 7, a saint on a train to heaven. And that organ, yeah. Yeah, right with the drums. If you don't like your number, trying to get out from under, Providence comes and offers sweetly, swallow the dream you like. Like if you don't like what's, in a sense, naturally handed to you in life, get out from under. You have choices. Some buy a dream, crutch to survive. Somebody says, don't sell me lies. Just sell me England, preferably by the pound.
Please clap.
So Providence kind-hearted lady sends round all her salesmen with toy revolutions and more. Cadillac, I like the little ramble area. Cadillac Gurus, Old Jesus New Circus, Blind 50s Revivals, the Wind-Up Pelvis Band keeps on playing. Still someone saying, don't sell me lies. So Providence called her last friend Heroine the Charming Ocean. Patient enough for every problem, silent enough to drown so many good friends. That's an interesting line describing that. Providence of illusion, providence of whore fat kings. Leave them alone. Lady, you'll never get them. Lady, you'll never win. They are miles from your zoo. Even sad, even dying of sadness, they are winners, beautiful winners. They are the land of your fall. I felt like I was getting it right with the first part. Like, if you don't like what life is handing to you, you got to get out from under and take charge. Make your choices, make your decisions. And life will offer you many other things, like a salesman with different things, such as Cadillac Gurus, Old Jesus New Circus, Blind 50s Revivals, Wind Up Pelvis Band, like all these new things that are put in front of you, and someone's still saying, "Don't sell me lies." Like that's not real in a sense. Okay, I think I'm kind of getting it. Blind 50s Revivals, like revival of music, the 50s music coming back or something. And her last friend, drugs, heroine, the charming ocean, patient enough for every problem, silent enough to drown so many good friends. So all these different... Okay, here's how I view this. Because I was really looking at like this section here to try and figure this out. Like a used car salesman is typically viewed as kind of sleazy, right? Selling you a car that may look good on the outside, but may not so much. Old Jesus New Circus, selling religion to you, right? Maybe something that in some capacity may not hold up. Blind 50s Revivals, I couldn't quite get. The Wind Up Pelvis Band, I'm not quite sure. Maybe just a new band that... I just got to tell you what first thing I thought of. A brand new band that just thrust in your face and dances. They have flashy moves, but maybe there's no substance to them, like a stylistic pop band. Keep on playing, but once again, these are lies. And then, okay, well, Providence is going to give you, I got one last thing. Providence says, I got one last thing for you. Drugs, right? Patient. We'll be with you till the end. And yeah, very much to the end, right? So I'm kind of getting the providence of illusion, the illusion of choices. You'll never win. So there's a resistance to Providence, this lady, life offering you these things. Okay. I feel like I'm treading the message. I feel like I'm almost on it, but maybe not quite. Let's move on to the next track, however, which is going to be Harlequin. That's like Camel.
Harlequin came at night, bound to the ghosts of Freedom Square, stretching a silver rope.
That's lovely.
Jester of frozen minds. And every one of us, junkies and ghosts of Freedom Square, spoke through his waving hands, wept at his brighter face, whispered through painted lips, rusty phrases, forgotten names.
I like the little warble he adds on the end of the scene. I like the guitar playing and the way the violin comes in like this one a lot. The distant melodic keys.
And every one of us, losers and lost, sad underdogs, describes our younger man. We danced all around the square, jumped to the see-through hall, screaming, shouting, forgotten land.
I love that warble. It's very Brian Ferry. It's mostly I love how melodic and soothing this track is.
Shooting our rage again, like parrots from past the past.
Time's gonna change. Getting faster too. When is it gonna set? That's the question. Ripping into a solo as this. Violin and guitar just like, or flute, violin and flute. Just battling. And settling the score in the middle. Jazzy. And that has the guitar taking over. Hugging guitar speed. I like how at least it seems like it's going to end slowing down the same way it began. Coming back to that initial atmosphere. great way to end. It's a great way to begin. Obviously, we'll see how things shape up as we continue through the album. We're only 2 songs in, so I can't say different. Oops. Hold on, not yet. So I can't say definitively yet. But with Harlequin, it could end up being my favorite track because this is like a track of thirds. The first third is just, to me, wonderful nocturnal nighttime music just to listen to. The combination of beautiful guitar playing. Guitar is going to be performed by Franco Maceda. Gorgeous guitar playing. Just succulent. Just wonderful to listen to. Enjoyable all around. Very melodic. Tastefully done. To me, it's just restful, relaxing, while still remaining very exquisite to listen to. And the mix of keys alongside with it. Wonderful. That whole opening, I think, is just wonderful. And what is it? Maybe, I don't know how long it goes on. Maybe 2 to 3 minutes or so. And like, I am completely satisfied with what's happening there. It's just a really, really lovely piece in that first third. And then we get that transition. And they did their transition well because they literally just started speeding up the music off the back end of the first third. And then it moves into the rock part, right? And from there, it is just battle. The violin and flute just battling each other. And then the synth coming in the middle, almost declaring like, you guys are fighting, but I'm the winner. Like, that was a really cool moment. And I love how that kind of came, in a sense, out of nowhere, because it is completely different mood-wise than what we were hearing before. You know, I got to pull up Harlequin again. Not this. Let me pull up here. The gentle swing. This is obviously completely different than what you would get. I'm thinking it's about probably at least here. Then here, completely different. And yet the way that they do transition between those, they do it tastefully, but they couldn't be further apart, the sounds. And usually I don't like ice cream mixed with my chicken. And yet, somehow they've pulled it. Somehow. I don't like it on the same dish, right? I want it separated. But somehow in Harlequin, I think that chicken-flavored ice cream may be on the menu tonight, and it may be finger-licking good. The organ solo, like you just heard there, or that synth solo, is like nasty and ugly in the good way. And it's just like a monster rising out of the sea. And like I said, it transitions into that battle between the flutes and the violin, and then synth coming back in and just taking it over. Everything becomes much more aggressive. And I was hoping, because I mentioned it when there was 1 minute left, I said, they should make good use of this time as it's clearly opening back up to soften back up. And boy, did they do that. So they ended in a really, really wonderful way there. And I think that this track definitely has the potential to be my favorite track on the album. But I don't want to speak prematurely. But this is gorgeous. I love this whole section here. This is all very 5 out of 5 to me. And that warble there, I mentioned it during the track, but that warble reminds me of Brian Ferry from Roxy Music. I think that was great. Let's look at these lyrics. Just got to scroll back up. Harlequin came at night, bowing to the ghost of Freedom Square, stretching a silver rope, gesture of frozen minds. He's just performing out there. And every one of us, junkies and ghosts of Freedom Square, spoke through his waving hands, wept on his brother face, whispered through painted lips, rusty phrases, forgotten lines. They're all just enjoying his show and, in a sense, kind of living through him. Thinking of arrows lost, shooting them past the pain. And this is when the music gets heavy and gets into that more aggressive part. And every one of us, losers and lost sad underdogs, just scraps of our younger minds, we danced all around the square, jumped to his see-through horn, screaming, shouting forgotten lines. They're just partying, shooting our rage again like arrows far past the pain. Oh, this is, okay. I knew it was shooting our something, so this is when it speeds up. My bad. It says it right there. Let's see. Then, and when the dogs fast arrived, banging across the town, we were there, all of us, a million harlequins. Like, he brought the party, and then they all felt like they were harlequins. They all felt like they were acting out. They all felt like they were part of the troupe, so to speak. And the town bloomed alive like a beautiful night fair. We were there, all of us, to be the rite of May. So honestly, pretty straightforward lyrics, unless I'm missing something. Harlequin came to town, performing in the town square. Everyone had a great time in the audience, so much that they were not only participating, but they were practically performing themselves. And they all felt like it's not just one Harlequin that's in this town, it's all of us. I like that. Now, I'm still curious about the Chocolate Kings thing. Maybe we'll get an answer here as we move on into the title track, Chocolate Kings.
When I was born, that came to free us to heal our battle wounds.
That's Gentle Giant.
With photographs of Big Fat Mama, the Chocolate Kings arrived. Food that's full of good intentions and that the nuts with pride.
It's a very rock and roll. Flam. Hey.
Shirley Temple dipped her dimples in baby nursery rhymes. Their mama's love was pure and simple and gentle dollar signs. Sang out lullabies.
It's like he gets into a little jig here, huh? Like that.
So sorry. They're back to back, stacked to flats, and we are so
To me, the music sounds like the party of the town square from the previous track.
The supermarket kingdom is falling apart. Machines on sale. No one left to worship the heroes of TV gods that failed. Home she takes a look in the mirror while she's on her way home.
Like stand at the home part. Guitar picking it up, violin picking it up. That drum fill continued. That's catchy. It's a fun little jumpy riff. Big Mama.
The Chocolate Kings have died. You don't wanna waste your life on chocolate now, but you like to stay alive. Like to stay alive.
Bass getting deep. Listen to all the space the guitar left. Big wide synth. Franz is just like, he's a really good drummer. I want to see really quickly. I'm just really like, he must have played with like someone else or done some other work besides just the band. Not to like discredit him. I'm just like curious, like if he's worked with other bands. He just seems like a really good drummer. Excuse me, I'm about to sneeze. Hold on, it's. At first I thought it was coming, then it didn't, then it was coming, then it wasn't. Okay, sorry. Excuse me. No, I don't see that he's necessarily. Oh, it just brought me to the band page. Oh, I wanted it to bring me to his page. I hate when Wikipedia does that. It gives me a article for him or a link for him, but it takes me to the band page. Okay. I just feel like he's a really, really great drummer. I just really enjoy hearing what he does, and he comes up with a lot of interesting fills, sometimes very long-running fills, longer than a sitcom running fills. This one, at this point, is like, to me, their most rocking out kind of track. You know, stripped away are some of those, you know, pastoral English melodies and, you know, colors and such. This one, they're just kind of rocking out and partying. And the sound here actually really makes me think about the previous track and the lyrics there, where the audience and the, you know, sightseers are just having a great time participating in this, whatever the Harlequin is performing. This sounds like that, especially because of that jig kind of melody that comes in and the rocking swing of the music, the violin, of course, incorporating that. And like, to me, that just makes me think of dancing. And I don't know what kind of dancing, but you stomping on the floorboards and stuff. And I think that comes across incredibly well here. And I love when the guitar backs off, allows space for the drums really to kind of kick back. And then the synth from Flavio fills in there, almost doing a similar jig, but not quite, kind of giving us a different color. So like all that, it's really fun. It's very energetic. It's very danceable. I love the chorus. I guess you would argue it's a chorus in this track when it's talking about I'm just looking at the lyrics here real quick. The Superman is losing fans and yes. Like that part. Like I love how he changes the direction of his vocal rhythm there. And it stands out as the chorus, and it's just such to me, a hook kind of stanza there to get you in. It's really catchy, and then the way it explodes after that, with once again incorporating those jig melodies and stuff, it's just really, really fun to listen to. But come on, like the drums are super, super powerful and just very good in here, and I can't help but like them a lot. I'm still curious, even reading the lyrics and following along, still not 100% sure what Chocolate Kings are, or at least who they represent. When I was born, they came to free us, okay, to heal our battle wounds. With photographs of Big Fat Mama. Is that who's here? Is this the photograph of Big Fat Mama? The Chocolate Kings arrived. I guess it would make sense. To feed us full of good intentions, they fattened us with pride, stars and candy bars. Okay. Shirley Temple dipped her dimples in favorite nursery rhymes. Big Mama's love was pure and simple, and gentle dollar signs sang out lullabies. Okay, like pacifying you with money and sweet things, like, you know, okay. So sorry, her Superman is losing fans, and I'm sorry. They've packed her bags, they've stacked her flags, we're sorry. Her supermarket kingdom is falling, her war machine's on sale. No one left to worship the heroes, her TV gods have failed. Hope she takes a look in the mirror while she is on her way back home. I feel like this is critical. I don't know. But I feel like this is critical of some power, some political power, some nation. I feel like that's what it's talking about, but I couldn't tell you quite what. Or if not necessarily a political power or a nation, an era or some sort of company, monopoly, corporation. Like, it's criticizing something in power because of what the Chocolate Kings represent and what they're giving. And that it's not really necessarily good. And they're sending her packing. Let's see. Her supermarket, you know, no one wants to worship our heroes. TV because it failed. Now you and I know Big Fat Mama. She took us for a ride. But muscle men are out of business and Chocolate Kings are dying. You don't want to waste your life for chocolate heaven. You like to stay alive. So he says, knew you, and I know Big Fat Mama. Like, we should know who this represents. 1975. They're an Italian band. I'm not quite sure if I'm being 100% honest. I'm looking up here. I haven't read any of this information yet. It was the first album to include Bernardo Lanzetti, former singer of Aqua Fragile, on lead vocals. This was also the first album where the lyrics are originally written in English, as the band felt they were better suited to the music that they were making at the time. The lyrics for From Under and Chocolate Kings were written by Marva Jan Morrow, an American friend of the group then living in England. So Marva probably knows what Chocolate Kings is about, but I don't. I don't. I think it's about some sort of person or entity in power and the things that were promised or that entity promised to the people and saying, yeah, these are all good things. We're going to sweeten you up, bring you to chocolate heaven. But in actuality, it wasn't good for the people. The people rejected Big Fat Mama and sent her packing home. Packing her bags, as it says there. That's what I'm getting out of it. I think I got that one. Out on the Roundabout. Why did I say it like that? Out on the Roundabout is the next track. Here we go. See, I like these openings a lot. These like kind of ambience, relaxing openings.
Got a skin of sun, I'm breathing cellophane. Got a fitting tan to offer to the rain. Who's a referee when winter plays the ball? Running out of time to celebrate the fall. Out of the roundabout, out of the roundabout.
Give me keys like that, I'm in.
Got a cotton hat to wear all year round. Got a time disease that keeps me upside down. And the willow trees are spitting out some green. I would give a look, but springtime it's a scream. Out of the roundabout.
Bass giving you a little drive.
Out of the roundabout.
That reminds me of Rush. Like how that guitar riff kept on going after.
At my bicycle rising, fast wheeling and climbing, the equinox hurls over gates of heat. Even now is to bring out.
See that drum? That's good drumming.
Search all the days before I miss their beat. I run into a black cat, good taste for all timing. His eye foolish shaker, good for our brain. And I've been trucking and tracking, still missing the rhythm of changes that just can make me feel alright.
See, once again, that perfect balance between the light verse and these heavy choruses or breaks. France. I'm like a feather out in the wind.
Birds on a cable, a dark feathered station, time for full migration by the wooden flag, asking cherries and peaches to work on
Every time it comes into a verse, a new thing is added.
I've been driving at Jacqueline's to listen to the rhythm of seasons like this to make me feel alright. Seasons right together, and the middle days are warm. Without a weather repetition, I can change my life, change my life, no, no, no.
Where we going? Some very fast playing. This is a speed test. It's so crisp. It's the bass. I don't know what I'm doing. The fill into this shuffle from Friends, I don't know. This album sounds like they're having so much fun.
Got a cotton hat to wear all year round.
Double track
Got a
vocals.
disease that keeps me upside down. And the wood trees are spitting out some green. I would give a look, but springtime is scream. I don't run the bound. I don't run the bound.
On my own time, I would like to give this one a second listen because there's a chance that this could be my second favorite on the album, but I got to give it another listen. Once again, they do a fantastic job of balance, is what I'm listening to. They perform a trapeze act between light and heavy, and I think that they just do an excellent job. The whole beginning of this is just wonderfully sleepy in the best way possible, not like a boring way, like, you know, you're nodding and you do the thing, not like that, but like it's just so relaxing. It's just so calming to listen to, at least for me. Like, I love that sound that's featured in the beginning and the way they move into that. When the drums come in, subtlety. There's elegance to the way that Friends performs there. And then the guitar playing is just romantic, in my opinion. It's very lovely. Once again, that's Franco Maceda there. And I just like that whole, that whole scenery that they perform. And Bernardo, I haven't talked a ton about his vocals here, but I like his vocals in the sense that they're not typical. They don't sound like the type of singing that I would expect when I'm listening to the music. As like a first-time listener or like someone who's new to this type of music. It's not what I would expect. And yet it adds a nice dimension. It adds some weight to it. It adds some character into the music. Kind of like someone listening to progressive rock for the first time. A lot of times, the vocalist in progressive rock music is not the type of vocalist that a person that listens to general music or, radio music, it's not like what you would expect. But there's something satisfying typically about what they're able to bring into the music. And here I'm feeling the same thing with Lanzetti in what he brings. And I think it's very palpable what he wonderfully brings in here. Mauro Pagani, once again, bringing that violin in here. And at certain specific moments, it just makes it fly. But we once again get a moment here, just like Harlequin, where the transition happens. I wasn't really paying attention to where it happens. Yeah. It's after this, right? So basically, here you go. Okay, listen to France. Listen to France. He's coming up. Right there. Heartbeat. It's the thickness, the depth, the size of the kick drum and how the production brings that out in that kind of moment where, the music is kind of sparse. It's fast, but it's sparse and kind of light. It's like a drizzle of rain. And the way that his that thump that comes through is just really, really nice. I love that. It has a nice texture in the music. And then everyone else, it's like they're playing as fast and kind of muted as they can. And everyone gets in on that. It just grows in from there. And I think that's a really cool way of escalating and progression. Because you know how I've been saying, for example, from the very beginning with From Under, they establish a theme, an A-B scheme, and then they start to fill it in. They leave it sparse in the beginning, and then they start to fill it in. They're doing the exact same thing here. You have, let me back up here. Right there. A little further in, right? Starts with the hi-hat and the quick guitar, and then eventually, synth solo, which kind of has a jazz fusion kind of sound to it. Then, after this, there you go. Right? Now guitar is coming back, and then it goes back into the verse. Okay. But it's just really cool how they do that. I think that the execution is it's just really nice. I think they just do a good job. That's all I got to say about that. Got a skin of sun, I'm breathing cellophane. Got a fade in tan to offer to the rain. Who's the referee when winter plays the ball? That's a good line. Running out of time to celebrate the fall. Out of the roundabout. Getting out of the cycle. Got a cotton hat to wear all year round. Got a time disease that keeps me upside down. Like a clock. And the willow trees are spitting out some green. I would give a look, but springtime looks a scream. Out of the roundabout. Now all the seasons run together and the middle days are gone. Without our weather repetitions, I can't shake my dice. Can't skip a line. No, no, no. Had my bicycle rising, fast wheeling and climbing the equinox hurdles over gates of heat. Even numbers to bring out and courses to follow in search of the days before I missed their beat. I ran into a black cat, good taste for all timing. His ivory shaker couldn't pour out rain. Is this a thunderstorm? I've been trucking and tracking, still missing the rhythm of changes that used to make me feel all right. I met birds on a cable, a dark feathered station, time flown for migration, but they wouldn't fly. Asking cherries and peaches to work on their accents, a natural compass, but they fooled me good. I've been jogging and juggling, still missing the rhythm of changes that used to make me feel all right. Okay, here's the summation of this all. He's talking about time. He's talking about cycles, seasons, things repeating in certain, expected patterns, but at the same time, things change. At the end, he says he's missing the rhythm. What rhythm? The rhythm of changes that used to make him feel all right. He feels off rhythm in some capacity. He feels out of sync with life, even though life is moving on in its same repeated cycles and seasons, as he mentions. But somehow he feels off with it. He feels out of the roundabout. A roundabout, of course, just being a circle. You get in the circle. He's feeling out of it right now. which you're not supposed to be driving continuously in a roundabout anyway. So, good on him for following traffic rules. Let's go ahead and listen to the next and final track on the album here, which is going to be Paper Charms. Here we go. It's kind of those satellite sounds. Little hymn with some organ behind it.
We got the cold. You uncorked your wine.
Okay.
How far we drove
This reminds me of the middle of Stagnation.
on a car of paper charms. Light drawings are cartoons, sound effects and red balloons.
Love the flute. Barely breathing there.
Far we seem to fly, caught alive, a sugar spoon.
It's like a different production or microphone he's using than previously.
Pulls the birds to fly, send them feathered sticky kites through the night.
It sounds like the run up to the conclusion, that last mile in your 5K.
Spring so high, but thinking to slide down the river. But rich and just a cardboard scene. The promised wonderland.
They had to. Bouncy bass rhythm. This feels like they're celebrating their time together. behind the violin. A very classy piano behind this. Those are the last notes. Right back to this motif.
I want you dreamt on us and from there to return. Then you taste of us, learn to fight. To the man, shake your fist, decompose all
I like that bass line.
Our pawns will turn with care just like the sunflowers.
He has a certain like emphasis in the way he sings.
The taste of time.
He's ripping.
From your pain, every time, far from your sticking roots, shining lights and red balloons.
Round it up.
You know what,
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, a full album reaction to PFM with Chocolate Kings. Harlequin still reigning at the top with the crown in the #1 spot. Paper Charms ending everything in like a perfectly conclusive manner. It feels like they put everything in here. They got every member to have a certain moment in the spotlight, to walk up front in the stage, do something, and then proverbially walk back and, just reach back into the song. And even Franz, to me, like obviously he's been mentioned ad nauseum from me on the drumming, but like he's kind of pulled back to an extent, not crazily, but he's pulled back. And to me, the star on this one is the violin from Mauro. The violin was sensational. That story, the solo we got in the middle of the track was wonderful, high energy, and I mean, hitting the highest frets on there. Hitting a tone that would probably hurt some dogs' ears, perhaps even. But that was like a really climactic moment in the track. And the ending of the song felt like it was going to be building up into an even bigger explosion, but it didn't. It kind of just fell out there at the end, which is fine. It worked out for it, right? But I was expecting like a bigger explosion at the end. Never got it. But now, kind of in retrospect, thinking back, I do believe that that violin was, to me, that high moment, that climax of the music, it happening in the middle, rather than somewhere near the ending, because it just kind of resolved itself there at the end. And then Bernardo, once again, his vocals at the end, on one hand, there is a part of me that's like, I didn't like all of the warbling that he was doing at the end, and his voice seemed almost shaky there at the very end of it, and those last few notes. I don't know if like he's giving a lot of right, like he's doing a lot of that, and instead of doing that, maybe you just hold the note, just or whatever, right? But so there's part of me that doesn't like how much vibrato he was adding in there, but the other part of me is like, you know what? It does still do what I said before, and it adds a certain character. Will it hold up in repeated listens? I couldn't tell you because this is a first listen. But you know, I still think that it does bring a certain character to the music and to what they're performing there. But I once again wholeheartedly believe that the violin is the standout on this particular track, and I think that it does a nice job of concluding the album as well. But it is not taking the spot away from Harlequin, which now that we've listened to the album, I can say with confidence, it's the best track on the album. How many times, Swan, we get cold. You uncorked your wine. How far we drove drunk on a car of paper charms. Light drawings, sun cartoons, Sunday fairs, and red balloons. How far... And even the way that he's singing throughout most of this track feels more epic and more conclusive, right? How far we seem to fly, calling life a sugar spoon. Pain was a bird to fight, sending feathered sticky kites through the night. Spring saw us leaving, thinking to slide down a moony river, but reaching just a cardboard sea, the promised wonderland. Crossed the drums, battle sounds, soon we lost our paper wings. Knew the thirst, knew the pain, learned to walk. To the man trying to stand, we composed our best songs. A lot of breaks there. Iron shoes tramped on us, mad fanfare of dirty tunes. Then we knew, taste of dust, learned to fight. I feel like this whole thing is about life. Like going through the innocence of life in your childhood, moving through it, you know, learning more, going through more, losing your paper wings, something temporary. Just like an ant or like termites, like they lose their wings when they're ready to start a nest and they kind of get into like adulthood. I feel like a similar thing here, like losing your wings, ready to grow. Every morning our poems will turn with care, just like the sunflowers, because we know the taste of time. Yeah, you've experienced time. How far we drove, Swan, from our fading paper town. Far from your sticky moons, shiny kites and red balloons, your nowhere wonderland. Like how far has life moved on from this seemingly idyllic landscape, this idea, this symbol, which I think represents innocence, and just moving on from there. I don't know. But that was a fun album to listen to. I think that the person on the front cover is the Chocolate King. If I'm having to guess. Favorite track, obviously Harlequin. I think that's very easily the best track here on the album. Roundabout probably coming in just right under that. Roundabout it. I would say. But this was a fun album to listen to. I really hope that you guys enjoyed it with me. Hope that you enjoyed the time here. Hope that it was time well spent. And before we round it out, plugging it again. Of course, you got the Buy Me a Coffees, you got the YouTube, you got the this, that. You got all the stuff there for you in case you're interested. I appreciate you spending some time with me. Thank you for being here. If anything, just put a comment down in the comments. Even if you don't want to say anything necessarily specific, just say hi. Just do like a little wave. Put an emoji for me. Just do something. Just do something to let me know that you're there. I appreciate you guys spending some time with me. Have a wonderful rest of your day. This is the third time I've said that, but I mean it every single time I say it. I will see you all later. Bye, guys.